Welcome to the Diva Details. Welcome to the Diva Details, where bold, confident women embrace life unapologetically. From love and sex to wellness and reinvention, we keep it raw, real, and powerful. No filters, no limits. Just fearless conversations to help you thrive. Let's dive in with Diva Mia.
Hello, this is Diva Mia, and today we're going to start a new series on dating. Dating is such a tricky thing for people nowadays because it's changed completely, at least it has from my day and age. And I know that people, the first thing they think they need to do is jump on a dating app, but the problem with that is a lot of people don't even know how to flirt. Flirting is a part of talking to the other sex. So when you want to flirt with someone, you talk to the opposite sex in a way that kind of lures them in a little bit or brings them closer to you. Now, I'm all for being authentic and being your true self, but you can be playful and flirtatious at the same time. So today we're going to dive deep into it a little bit more because there's a lot of people out there that don't know how to flirt at all. You talk to them and they're just really awkward. Or you go on a first date with them and they're really awkward. So let's talk a little bit more about flirting. All right. So first I want to talk about masculine versus feminine energy. Now, men and women flirt very differently. So remember, if you're a man, you're not going to be flirting the same way a woman does and vice versa. Flirting doesn't mean you're playing games. Now, I know there's a lot of books out there that say if someone texts you, you should ignore the text and wait till the next day to lead them on or pull them in closer. I'm not a big fan of that. I think people should be authentic, should communicate freely, and not manipulate or play games. But you do what you need to do. But I think you get a better quality person if you're actually true to yourself and true to them, honestly. Interest, the art of showing interest, is also magnetic. So people think if someone texts, you don't text till the next day, it makes them want you even more. But what if you texted back and you actually showed some interest? Because that feels magnetic, it's sexy, and it's very intentional. And I think in the current dating stages where people go on dating apps, they're talking to 20 different people, they start texting someone, and then they ghost them for a little bit, and then they come back. All it shows is that you're an option to that person, and I lose interest right away. Or if I'm texting someone regularly, like 2 or 3 times a day, and even talking to them on the phone, and then they go 3 days without talking to me, I've lost interest. And they may think it's a game and they're trying to pull you in. I just walk away. And I think a lot of people are losing a lot of good people by playing these games because most people don't want to be played with. I'm here to tell you, most people do not want to be played with. But let's get started with the flirting, okay? Because men and women flirt very different. And most of the time, the flirting signals for the opposite sex gets misread. You may think that you're being clear and communicating clearly, but your signals may be completely misread by the opposite sex. So men, they typically flirt by signaling intention. They'll say, hey, I like your picture. Hey, I like you. I'm interested in you. I want to pursue you. They're very direct typically. They're less gameplay, at least in the very beginning I've seen. Now, they may play a little bit of games I think they've learned from women to not text back right away or play hard to get a little bit. But in the very beginning, they will pursue you. And that's a good thing, ladies. You want a man that's going to pursue you because if you're chasing a man down, he's not going to be very masculine. That's the truth. If you're having to follow a man around, if you're having to constantly text him first, if you're having to constantly go after him, A, he's probably not very masculine, or B, he's just not that into you. And either way, you probably don't want him. So, or maybe he's got a whole roster of women lined up. So it's one of the 3 things. So if you're chasing a man down, I would say move on to the next person. Find someone that you actually align with and someone that you actually can communicate with on a daily basis. If you're dating someone and you're not talking daily, I am pretty convinced that there's something off. Either they're dating other people or they're just not that into you or something's going on or they're just playing games. You should be talking to people that you're dating, at least that you dated a couple times every single day. In fact, I think it's not unheard of that before you go on a date that you're just texting a couple times a day. It literally takes 30 seconds. Here's the truth that I want you to understand. If someone can't take 30 seconds out of their day to text you, you're not that important to them. And when you get into a relationship with them, you're not going to be that important to them. And that's a low quality man. You want a quality man that gives you attention, that gives you care and consideration. You want to feel important to them, not just have them tell you you're important to me or say, I'm interested or I want to pursue you and then ghost you for a week. That's not healthy. And then you chase back because you feel like, oh, he finally came back to me. He's going to be a terrible dating partner. And you deserve more. You really do. Men tend to be very direct when they flirt. They're also very physical. A lot of times men can be touchy-feely. Now, I have gone on dates where guys were way too touchy-feely. So you have to be careful with that because that's a red flag. But men can be direct. They might touch you on the shoulder, give you a hug, things like that. And they can also be very compliment-based. They should tell you how beautiful you are, how sexy, how smart. Those are things that men like to do because that's very flirtatious for them. And they also like to make jokes. Now, here's the truth. If you have a man that's making jokes and the jokes are really not funny, don't laugh. You can just give him a look or something like that. But if they're really not funny, you're going to get those jokes for the rest of your life if you start laughing when you're dating them. So they do try to be humor driven, though. The men that really like you are going to try to make you laugh because men like to make a woman laugh. Then they're going to be outcome focused. If you have a man that's texting you every day, you're getting to know them, you're getting a great communication going on, you're texting them every day, and then they say they want to pursue you. They say they want to go on a date with you. Once they set that intention, they should schedule the date. They shouldn't be making you schedule the date. They shouldn't be making you make the reservations. If they're pursuing you, why are you setting all this up? Now, I'm a big believer in values, like traditional men and women values, just because it balances. It creates a balance in a relationship that makes everything feel peaceful when you find your right person. Believe me, when you find your right person, the peace just happens. So those are typical types of things that they will do. They will want to have either a date scheduled or a phone conversation or FaceTime or something like that. Those are the types of things that men do when they're outcome driven and outcome focused. They also will offer to help you. So let's say that your car breaks down. They might help to change a tire. They might be the ones that initiate most of the conversation on texting. They might offer to help you with other things that are happening in your life. They also, on the phone, when you talk to them, might offer ways to problem solve. Men tend to be big problem solvers. So if you give them a problem, they may help you try to problem solve it. Don't take that as an insult, because a lot of people take it as an insult. They're just trying to be there for you. If you're at a restaurant and a man's eyes linger, that's a way that a man will flirt with you. If they look at you and then if a woman looks back and looks away, that's a way a woman flirts. So it's basically light teasing with your eyes. A man could also walk up to you and touch you on the arm. That's a flirtation, ladies. So if you're at a restaurant or a bar and a man walks up and touches you on the arm, that's definitely a flirtation. Now, I know a lot of people are on the dating apps exclusively, but there's still a lot of people that meet people in restaurants and bars and at other events, at mixers, at different meetup events, things like that. There's ways that you can determine that a man likes you. They can also tease you a little bit. Now, I have found that if a man teases you too much and it gets rude, that's not a good sign. Sometimes they get rude, though, because they're so awkward and so nervous that when they tease you, they don't know how to handle themselves. I will say I've had that happen with men as well. Then they try to show their status. When you have a man that the first time you meet him starts talking about how much money they make, or that they're vice president of this company or the chief executive officer of that company, they try to show off. That's a sign they want to flirt with you because they're trying to show off their masculinity. It's a really good sign. Men that brag about themselves, it may come across as a little narcissistic, but they're also doing it just to make sure you realize that they could provide for you. Men like to be providers, and don't take that away. Men like to pay for the bill, ladies. Don't try to split it 50-50. If a man's trying to split the bill 50-50, it's a red flag. Because that means they can't provide for dinner for you. How are they going to provide if you have children with them? How are they going to take care of you at all in the future when you're taking care of the house, probably working full time, taking care of the kids, and they split a check? That's the reality. If you're a divorcee or a single mom and a guy tries to split the check, I would just laugh because there's no partnership there. Because women, we give a lot. Men are there. Don't get me wrong. They help us out. They assist. And they help around the house and they fix things and they do things. But most of the weight of the household responsibilities has and always does rest on the woman. Realize if they're splitting a check with you, they're probably not masculine and they're probably not a good dating partner. It's a red flag. You might just want to move on. Any of the men out there that are trying to split checks with women on a first date or even future dates, honestly, if you can't afford to take a woman on a date, don't date. Because if you're trying to split the check, it's quite insulting for your manhood. You've lost all masculinity as soon as you try to split that check. It's kind of ridiculous. Now, I know there's women out there that say, I can pay for myself. I can pay for myself. But if a man can't step up to the ballpark, why would I want to date him? If he can't pay for a dinner check, how's he ever going to take me out anywhere? How are we ever going to do anything fun together at all? Is he even going to be able to pay for a suit to go to a nice party with me? That's the reality. Think about it, ladies, long and hard before you say you're going to split a check with someone. And then also, men will show status, they show their capabilities, and then they ask questions to demonstrate interest. What do you do for a living? What are your likes? They like to tell you they're pursuing you. First of all, they have no problems. Direct. I like you. I want to date you. That's a man's way of flirting. Now, the day of the old pickup lines, I think, are gone, although I've heard some. But now they're more of a joke than a pickup line. Men, I think, have become way more direct because they're kind of tired of some of these games. Now, women is going to flirt quite differently. Women tend to not chase. If you're a woman that chases, you're probably chasing a lot of men, and they're probably running from you. Because men don't want to be chased. Men want to be the chasers. So when you flirt, it needs to be much more subtle. It can also be energetic. If you're tired all the time and you're down and you're melancholy, that is not flirtatious. If you complain, if you're a victim, if all you do is whine and talk about politics, that is not flirtatious. So a woman needs to be much more subtle. A woman needs to be energetic and positive. Now, if this is not your personality, maybe you need to do some work on you. Because why would you want to bring into a relationship a person that's a victim? Why would you want to bring into a relationship a negative person that all they do is sit around and complain? If that's you, you got some work to do on you before you start flirting. So that's pre-flirtation, pre-dating level. You need to be emotionally stable. If you really want to get a good quality man, if you're not emotionally stable, why would they want to date you? There's a lot of crazy out there, both on the male side and the female side. So again, work on you, whether you're a man or a woman, if you're not emotionally stable. Now, they also want you to show care and concern back. So if they stub their toe, say, oh, poor thing or poor baby, and be gentle with them. Men like it when a woman is gentle, when a woman is caring, when a woman is concerned. Because we are the nurturers in our relationships, ladies. We raise the children. We birth the children. Our natural instinct is to be nurturing. We bring support to every single relationship. We are the rock of every single relationship. Now, I'm not saying men direct the relationship, but we are the ones that carry the relationship, if you will. Because if a man is really angry with you, you'll get angry back. If a man is really gentle with you, you'll be there like no other. You'll be his rock. You'll be his support person. And you'll help drive that relationship to a success, most likely. So again, a woman can be subtle, energetic, emotional. She can also be very suggestive and playful. Like she may flirt with you and say things that you don't even expect to come from a woman. She may be suggestive you may say, hey, what do you like to eat? She can tell you what she likes to eat. Then a man could go and make the reservation. So she can suggest things, or I enjoy doing this, then you show up and do it or assist. Those are types of things a woman will do. She might talk to you and say, oh, wouldn't it be nice to go for dinner at this place? That's a hint, men. If a woman says that, you should take the initiative and say, hey, I'd love to take you out there sometime. What do you think? Then you should also talk about invitation-based. So sometimes women will invite you in a way that's not a full invitation, like, oh, would you like to travel with me sometime? Or would you like to go, again, to this restaurant sometime? That's an invitation-based flirt. And it's also very suggestive. So when you hear this, man, that's a flirt back, and that's an open door for you to ask her out. A woman makes soft eye contact, not aggressive eye contact. When a man makes eye contact, a woman can look back lightly and do a soft eye contact. She might make a little smile for a second or two, and then she tends to look away and plays a little shy. This is just something that naturally happens with women. Now, I probably make more eye contact than most because I'm very confident in who I am. But a soft eye contact when you're first getting to know someone is really good. Now, on a first date, I'm not about looking away. You look very deceptive, men and women, when someone makes eye contact on a first date and you're looking away. So make sure that on a first date, it's not just soft eye contact. You can play with your hair or jewelry. A lot of women like to have a necklace on that they play with, or a ring, or their hair. They twirl their hair. All those things are very flirtation, and men eat that up. You need to have open body language. If you're sitting there crossing your arms, looking away, a man is not going to find you attractive. The other thing is if you're sitting there playing on your phone when a guy's trying to flirt with you, he's just going to walk away because it's not open body language. When a man talks to you, you need to be open to him and receive. Women need to learn to receive more, and men need to learn to give more. It's true. And then if you laugh at his jokes, that will be an open door for him to ask you out. You can also drop hints like, oh yeah, I broke up with my boyfriend a couple weeks ago, and yeah, I'm just starting to look again for a new boyfriend. Not really serious, but just, keeping my options open. That would be a way to drop a hint. You can drop a hint and give him opportunities to take you out. So when a man says, I'm pursuing you, your job is to say, I'm open to you pursuing me. And that's through flirtation. All right. So flirting is very important. I think that flirting has been lost due to the dating apps a lot. We flirt, but most people don't really know how to flirt. And that's what the art of flirting is today. So remember, we are talking about how you can flirt with the opposite sex and how you can get the opposite sex interested in you. It's not that hard. I think people make it so much harder than it has to be. The flirt is just to get the other person to think that you're A, emotionally stable, B, that you might have some common interests, and that you are energetic and interested in them. Because the reality is when people flirt, they just want to see that the other person is reciprocal. If you're not reciprocal or you give cold signs or you don't treat the other person with respect, why would they want to take you out? Okay? Playing hard to get is fine for a little bit, but if you're playing hard to get through everything, they're just going to walk away. There's too many options out there with the dating apps. There really are. But men often misread women because women, we flirt indirectly. We're like a little more subtle. We tend to not ask a man out. So if you're a man out there and you're waiting for a woman to ask you out, then I'm sorry, go get some balls because you're not very masculine. You need to take the initiative. That's your job. If you don't know how, then there's plenty of books out there. This podcast can help, but you need to learn. You need to work on you, first of all, become more secure in who you are and learn to take initiative. Female cues are often subtle, though. We might play with our hair. We might flip our hair. We might just give you a glance. Those are flirtation cues. So if you're out and about, that's a cue. On text messages, we may say, oh, glad to see you're awake. Hope you slept well, honey. Those are flirtation cues, okay? When you hear women talk like that to you, that's an idea that it's time to ask her out because she's concerned about you. Men, a lot of times, they look for direct verbal confirmation, and most women don't give it. Most women, we send signals. We send some physical signals. We may look a certain way. We may thrust our hips a certain way, kind of like a dancing bird. But we don't necessarily give, hey, I want to go out with you. No. A woman is friendly when she's flirtatious, and that can be a sign of romantic interest. If a woman is rude and nasty to you, I don't know if you even want to take that on, honestly. A woman will think that you get her cues if she smiles twice at you. If she looks at you and then smiles and looks at you again and smiles, she thinks she's telling you, ask me out. And a man doesn't see that. A man needs a painted billboard. So sometimes, lady, you're going to have to give men a break because a lot of them are kind of clueless with the flirtation. So you might have to be a little bit more direct. Maybe you do a couple cues and maybe you stick your hand on his arm. So you can use physical touch, ladies, to signal to a man if he's not getting it that you're interested. Okay. Now, men, they flirt very directly, but they tend to be less consistent. And this is a problem that women have with men. If you're dating a man and he's not consistent, you tend to tire early because consistency for a woman is crucial because we want a man that shows up consistently. And if they can't show up consistently when you're dating them or even flirting with them, there's a problem. You find them as not to be a very sound man. If someone's not consistent, so men, you do need to work on this. Women, we need to work on being a little more direct, and men, you need to work on being more consistent. Because otherwise we think you're dating a whole group of women. And if you are, that's fine. But most women aren't liking to be number 5 on your list of dates. Sometimes men also make jokes to hide their insecurities. And you typically see this in a man that makes fun of other people in order to make it humorous. And men that constantly make fun of other people tend to not be the ones you want to date anyway because they're very insecure. So humor's fine, Ellen fine, but when it's constantly making fun of other people, it's a red flag too. Some men, they like to flirt with everyone though. They like to flirt with every single person they see. They flirt with women. And again, you got to be careful of those men because those tend to be the ones, lady, you have to worry about later. That once you're in a relationship, they may be also the types that cheat. So the men that flirt with everyone are the red flags. I kind of was married to one. So I know for a fact the ones that flirt with everyone, you have to be wary of. Then you have the ones that don't flirt with anyone. The ones that when you're with them, they look at you and they think you're the top of their world. The ones that only focus on you. Those are the keepers, ladies. I'm here to tell you, because those you don't have to worry about cheating on you. They will pay attention to you and they will give you care and consideration like no one else has. Those are the ones that will take care of you in the future. Now, I know sometimes it's fun to go out with the bad boy. It's sometimes fun to go out with the guy that's flirting with everyone, that's dating everyone because it feels like you won. But you didn't really win anything. You want a man that has so much insecurity, he has to flirt with everyone because he's not secure in himself. He's not a long-term partner. He's just a plaything, honestly, ladies. So if that's what you're looking for, then go ahead. But if you're looking for a man that's actually quality, that's going to be in a relationship, you want a guy that's not flirting around with everybody. You want somebody that's consistently showing up for you. You should never assume a man is going to be obvious about liking you because some men don't know how to flirt. And many men right now, ladies, due to the state of how we've had the Me Too movement, some men are scared. I actually had a person tell me I can't kiss her because I'm afraid of getting charged with sexual harassment sexual assault. So if a man thinks he's going to get charged with sexual assault for kissing you, if it's not welcomed, you have to worry about that. And we'll talk about kissing on the next podcast and how to get cues and give signs for kissing. But many men fear rejection. If a man's afraid of getting rejected, it's going to be hard for him to ask you out. Now, men, I'm going to tell you, stop feeling this fear because there's a lot of women out there that you're missing out on because you're afraid to ask them out. And get used to some rejection. It's just part of being a man. And it's okay to be rejected because there's a lot of women out there. And women expect their intuition to lead them. Ooh, does this feel right? Ooh, does this man make me feel safe? The truth is, a man that can't ask you out is not going to make you feel safe, ladies. A man that's scared is not going to make you feel safe. So a man really does need to step up and learn and learn how to ask out. Men sometimes need instruction. So maybe a man wants to ask you out, doesn't know the area, or a man wants to ask you out and he doesn't want to offend you. So realize sometimes they need a little bit of help sometimes when they're asking you out. There's some cheesy old school pickup lines I just wanted to go over with you real quick because I thought this would be fun. One of the cheesy old pickup lines that used to happen, now this is Generation X guys and before, but a guy would come up to a woman and say, "Did it hurt when you fell from heaven? Because you look like an angel." That's a pickup line. All right. And then another one could be like, "Are you a parking ticket because you've got fine written all over you?" Those are some cheesy pickup lines that men use. And it's kind of fun to laugh. Sometimes it's an icebreaker when a man uses a cheesy pickup line. And a woman usually says, "Does it actually work for you?" And sometimes it opens a door for communication. Modern pickup lines tend to be more witty, a little short, sometimes sarcastic and intentional, but casual. Like you might say on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 to America, how free are you Friday night? That's a cute little pickup line. And are you always this cute or is it just your photos are messing with me? So if somebody's FaceTiming you, they might say, "Hey, are you always this cute or are your photos messing with me?" Oh, or if you're going through a dating app, they might say that as well. So then there's, masculine energy still going to lead you, ladies. So they're still going to drive the flirtation comments. But women don't usually use pickup lines because they're not usually the ones pursuing. And then if you're inviting, a man will enjoy it. Now, confidence is sexy, but too much confidence is scary for men, I will say. When you're confident, a man will be drawn in. It's very sexy for a man to see a woman that's confident and appreciative of her own body, appreciative of her own mind, confident in who she is and what she can do, not someone that's desperate and weak. Men are not into that, ladies. I know a lot of women think, "Oh, I have to be like the fawning dove that's over here, like, help me, save me, help me." They might help you once, but they're not there to just completely save women anymore. Things have changed a little bit. Men do like confident women. Now, overconfidence or too much confidence can scare men because then they're like, "Wow, I can't keep up." And for a man, if you have a very confident woman, sometimes they can't keep up. So realize that you're going to, decrease your pull, but maybe you want to. If you're very confident, maybe you want to, because sometimes it's good to have a really high confident quality man. Then don't be over eager. Okay. When somebody is making comments, don't as soon as they do a pickup line, "Hey, Let's go out sometime. Don't be overeager. Let them set the tone. Let them set the vibe. And then the best thing always, again, I'm going to go back to authenticity, because when you're acting or making stories or talking and you're not being true or fake laughing or over flirting, it's not authentic, ladies, and people pick up on that. Why don't you just learn to be yourself? Because you're going to have to be yourself for him to like you anyway. And if honestly, I'm myself with every single guy I go out with. If they don't like me, to me, you can move on, because I'm going to be myself through the whole relationship. So if you don't want to know me, that's okay. Go find someone else. But I'm going to be my confident self. I'm going to be my authentic self. I will find my right person. It may take a little bit, because I do weed out a lot of non-masculine men that are very beta boys, because they can't keep up. So for me, I'm okay with weeding out those types of people. A masculine person, okay, you're going to lead with purpose. You're going to make a lot of eye contact. Men will make eye contact and not look away. A masculine man will make definite eye contact. And most of the time, if they're really masculine, ladies, they're not going to look away. It's going to pull you in. If a guy makes really strong eye contact, it's really going to pull you in. If you're talking to a man and he can't make eye contact, that to me is a red flag. Is he married? Is he just too nervous? Is he insecure? It's a red flag. But a man will start to ask you curious questions and then tease you a little bit. He might make fun of your drink choice. He might make fun of, I don't know, something that you're wearing. Just don't take it too personally. A lot of men tease in order to break the ice or to get over their nervousness. And then they also compliment. So they'll say, oh, you have beautiful eyes. So usually they'll tease a little bit and then they'll tell you, you know what, you have beautiful eyes, or your hair is gorgeous, or something. Maybe not the word gorgeous. They might say, I love your hair. I love your curls. I love your straight hair. Those types of things. So men will compliment, and then they hopefully will maintain a calm confidence. If a man is very erratic, that's kind of a red flag for just be careful with that person. If they're not calm and they're freaking out a little bit, that's a red flag to me. This is probably not the person you want to be talking to anyway. So realize that. If they're overly nervous, it can be a red flag. And then they're also grounded, but not performative. And so if they're grounding, they're going to be real. They're going to talk to you about real things. They're probably going to talk to you about their job a little bit, but they're not going to overly boast. If you get a guy that's overly boasting or trying to perform for you, it's kind of a red flag that he's a narcissist. It really is. If he's bragging about himself so much, it's kind of like women lose interest in that, guys. It's okay to say, yeah, this is what I do, but then spending an hour talking about yourself is just, a woman's probably going to walk away before the hour is up, honestly. So that's not a good flirtation to just sit there and brag about yourself, guys. One of the things men might say to a woman is, I like how passionate you are when we talk. I like how your energy is warm. You really do attract me. I'm really into you. I really want to spend time with you. Those are things that are flirtatious that a man may say, and they're very direct. And women, you should be able to pick up on these cues. Men that are direct, and I would say the majority of men are direct, will tell you exactly what they want. I've had a man tell me he wanted to go to a hotel room with me. Now, that happened, but I did have a man tell me. At least he was direct. Okay? It made me a little nervous, and I kind of tried to get back to my car before he walked me back. Yeah, it made me a little nervous, but some men are overly direct. So they tend to tell you what they want, though. So for a woman, if you smile more often at them or you're cheerful, men like that. Men like to see your smile. And they like to see soft eyes. They don't like to see angry eyes. So don't get angry. Don't get overly impassioned. Be energetic without over-the-top emotion. And then show your warmth and openness. Men like to be cared for. That's what they're looking for. Or they wouldn't even be dating. I mean, let's think about this, ladies. The purpose of dating for a woman typically is she wants a man to make her feel safe. She's looking for a man to be a provider or at least a good partner, okay? And someone that can either take care of her, can take care of her children on bad days, because it's lovely to be able to lean on a man. And a man is looking for someone to help nurture them. Now, they shouldn't be looking for a mommy, okay? Because men still need to stand on their own. And I get that. There's a lot of men out there looking for moms. But they are looking for someone soft, someone that can nurture them, someone that can care for them, and take some of the weight off of the world that they have to deal with. Now, we have a lot of weight too, and your partner will balance you. And hopefully you'll be reciprocal with this. And when I say reciprocal, you give, they give. Not you give, and they take. That's not reciprocity. So when you're reciprocal with people, you're giving and taking. You're giving to each other. You're both making each other feel good, both making each other feel peace. That's the whole purpose of what is considered companionship and the reason why people are dating. Now, some people say they're dating to have sex, and that's a whole different podcast. I'm talking more today about dating to actually find a partner that gives you companionship and care and concern. and love and butterflies and makes you feel like you're the only person in the world. And you should be the only person in the world to them. So mirror their energy. If they're warm and open, be warm and open with them. If they're closed here's one thing. One of the things that we do in sales is that you mirror someone's vocal. Like, so if they're loud, you can be loud. If they're quiet, you can talk softly. If they talk fast, talk fast. If they talk slow down your roll a little bit. And it helps calm men. And if they can see you do this, then they're going to be more open to asking you out on a date. And then don't forget to compliment his efforts. Not necessarily his appearance. Men, if they look really good or they smell really good, you might want to compliment them. Because I've had some men like just are delicious when they smell. But they have a gorgeous cologne that just fits them. But compliment his efforts. Say, hey, thanks so much for asking me out. I'd love to go out with you. Or thanks so much for putting together this date. It's going to be great. We're going to have lots of fun. If they organized it, if they scheduled it, and then just compliment any of his efforts. If he opens the car door for you, which all men should, by the way, if he's opening the car door for you, say thank you so much. Okay, just get in the use of complimenting. And then give him a small invitation to move closer. So if, for instance, if he's talking to you and there's a chair between you and you're at a bar, and your purse is on it, you can always give him a look, grab your purse, and then give him a look back. If he still doesn't get it, you can always say, tap on the chair and say you want to sit closer. You can be direct too, ladies. And then some of the compliments men like to hear is, I love how decisive you are. I love how you speak to me. I feel relaxed when I talk to you. And you make me feel safe. Now, I want to be saying this if it wasn't true, ladies. Don't be making these statements if they're not true. But a man should be making you feel safe. If a man's not making you feel safe, again, another red flag. Now, let's talk about specifically flirting on dating apps, because this is all about flirting, and we all need improvement on flirting, I think. So when a man flirts on a dating app, don't say hey or hi or what's up or how you doing. You need to look at her profile and start a conversation based off of something on her profile. Now, I know a lot of times men, you're just swiping through people. But if somebody really catches your eye and you want to be seriously flirting with her, you need to look at her profile and then comment on it. You need to keep the comments short and intentional, not just drag on the forever texting, because it is really up to you, men. I keep hearing men say, I don't want a forever text partner. I don't want a pen pal. Well, you're the ones driving the communication. So if you don't want a forever text partner, you need to start being decisive and make a decision on what you're going to do. So just realize that too. You're the ones that drive this. So I would say keep the messages short. You might say, hey, I saw that you're really into hiking. What places do you like to hike? Or, hey, I thought that you might be interested in going out dancing sometime because you like to go out dancing. You're going to want to maybe have 10 to 20 exchanges on text messages, no more. Some people say keep it to 7 to 20. That's a good range. And then after 7 to 20 really thought out text exchanges, then you should probably ask her out, or at least get a phone call or a FaceTime with her. If you're texting hundreds of times, you've got a pen pal and you created the pen pal. It's up to you to drive the dating. Okay, it really is. You can also use voice notes. I really like using voice notes. Now, granted, I have a really nice voice, I think. And so I like to voice message people and leave voice notes either in the dating app or in text message. And the reason is because then they kind of get to know you a little bit more, because texting is very dry. But when you voice note someone, they can hear kind of your personality a little bit when you give them a voice note. They can hear if you're cheerful. They can hear if you're depressed. They can hear if you're negative. All that comes across in a voice note. And people pick up on those cues. You can't hold it back. And then send confident compliments to the woman. Tell her how pretty she is, but make sure it's authentic. Always be authentic. Don't tell her she has great hair and she's bald or balding. Be nice, okay? But send warm compliments. One thing to open is, I love that you travel solo. What's your favorite place to go? Where have you been? Those are types of things a man can start a conversation with to flirt. I love the fact that you have been sky jumping. How many times have you jumped out of a plane? Those are types of things. Just ask about her. Great flirtation. And there's no line. It doesn't take much thought, guys. It takes 2 minutes to fully scan a woman's profile, and you'll get more dates out of this. If you text people hi, hey, or a wave, I'm sorry, that's a turnoff, because you basically showed no effort. A woman doesn't date a man that has no effort in him. If you're going to show no effort flirting, you're going to show no effort when I'm dating you. All right, so women, let's talk about how women should flirt. So we need to respond with curiosity. Oh, I've traveled to Scotland and Britain and Japan. Have you ever been to any of these places? That's a way to respond with curiosity. Do you like to travel as well? How many places have you been to? Kind of be reciprocal on their questions. Find out more about them. Now, ladies, you can also check out their profile and find out more questions and ask very curious questions for them. And then men like to see emojis. Now, I believe when you're flirting, the hug emoji is probably better than the kiss emoji, but that's up to you. Some people like to give the kiss emoji when there's something cute or playful said. I'm not big in sending sex emojis when you haven't gone on a date with people, but that's your choice. Keep it playful. Now, I will tell you, the people that go straight into sending me pics that are unsolicited, they just get canceled. So if a man's sending you a dick pic 2 or 3 texts in, it's a red flag. They're just looking for a sex toy. And if that's what you want, that's fine. But if you're looking for someone that's committed to you, that's not going to be what you're going to get from that relationship. He's just going to be a player or an F-boy. And that's what he's looking for. And at least he was honest, right? At least he told you up front, this is what I'm looking for. And if you're not, then just move on. So be playful. And anybody that constantly goes straight for sex, with flirtation, it's also a red flag. And then give him a window, ask you out, say, look, I am traveling next week, but I'm available the following week. So if you get into like 7 to 10 texts and he says, hey, I'd like to ask you out sometime, well, just give him a window. I'm available Monday through Wednesday at 6 o'clock and Saturday at 9 or something, whatever your times are. And just let him know when you're available. If you give them a window, they're more likely to ask you out. And it gives men a little bit of direction without leading them, ladies. Just a little bit of direction sometimes men need. And then again, short voice notes from a woman are very sexy. Men love to hear a woman's voice because it calms them. It gives them a reassurance and makes them feel like they're headed in the right direction with a woman. Because if they hear your voice, A, they think that you're real and not just some scammer. And B, it just gives them more encouragement to ask you out because you took the time to show them some appreciation by giving them a voice note. And a woman, if you are pursuing a man, you can say, I like your smile. I like the fact you laugh on pictures. I tend to not pursue men on dating apps, but I did pursue one time where I said, hey, I see that you're from this location and it's kind of interesting. Might be nice to be friends. Those types of things you can pursue, but don't overdo it. Okay? Still let the man lead before your first date. So now that we've gotten through the dating apps, we flirted a little bit in bars. Now we're going to go flirt before your first date. So this is where your chemistry starts before you even meet. So when you talk to someone, if you can talk to them on the phone for a couple hours and kind of lose track of time, that's a good sign. It's a good sign that you have some automatic chemistry. If you talk to someone and it's painful and you can't wait to get off the phone, you may not even want to go on a date with them, ladies. Honestly, if you have no chemistry on the phone, it's unlikely you're going to have chemistry face to face. And one time I did try to go on a date with a person that I had very little chemistry over the phone because all he did was talk about how amazing he was. And I kind of was just losing interest, but I went anyway just to try it out. And I will say it was a terrible day. It was absolutely miserable. So if you have no chemistry on the phone, don't waste your time. That's why I love talking to people on the phone first, because why do you want to go get ready? Why do you want to do your hair? Why do you want to, get your nails done? All the stuff a woman has to do to get ready for a date. I mean, I spend a couple $100 getting ready for a date sometimes. So if you're going to spend all this time and money getting ready for a date, why do you want to go out with somebody that's not worth your time? So really pre-screen a lot. So you're going to pre-screen on the dating apps before, then you're going to pre-screen again when you talk to them on the phone. And then confirm, men, you're going to have to confirm up these times and locations. I want you to confirm when it's set and then firm up again either the day before, the night before, or the morning of. Just confirming we're set for 5 o'clock tonight. Can't wait to see you at such and such location. Now, most of the time, people are going to meet you there. Most of the time, you're not picking up the woman anymore. That has changed. Most women will not get into a car with a stranger. Unless you're in a smaller town or you've met the person in advance, most of the time, you're not picking them up. Confirm the time and location of where you're going to meet with confidence. Don't say, hey, just wanted to make sure we're still on. I don't hear from you. I don't know if we're still going to. That's lacking confidence. I'm confirming time and date. Can't wait to see you tonight. Don't question it. And you can anticipate what the reaction is going to be if you're confident. If you lack confidence, it's really going to hurt you. Don't overtext. If you don't hear from them in an hour, don't text them 5 more times. Hey, just checking in to make sure we're still on. Don't do that because women have busy things too. We have things going on and we may not be able to get back to you right away. Now, if you've texted the night before and you don't hear back and it's an hour before your date, you might want to give her a call. You might, just to say, hey, before I drive out, I just want to make sure you're okay and we're still meeting today. I would do that just to make sure you're still on the same. A nice one would be, I'm looking forward to seeing you. The place is business casual, or the place is very casual. Whatever you did, men, to set up this date. Women, you need to respond softly. Don't be too over the top or excited. You're going to scare a guy away if you text multiple times too. If you're texting like 5-6 times in a row, hey, I can't wait to see you tonight. Do I need to bring anything? What will you be looking like? Where I'm going to sit? I mean, if you do that, it's over the top. You're going to scare men away too. So don't scare the men away and the women away before you guys even start dating. You can send a light compliment. You can say, I'm excited too. You have great energy. I look forward to meeting you. Those are nice compliments that you can send and say, hey, we're on the same page. This is going to be interesting. And then when you get there, you can figure it out. Now, remember, you've already flirted on text if it's a dating app. You've already flirted on the phone. Now you're doing some basic flirtation before your date. And then you get to see if there's real chemistry. I mean, you may have had chemistry on the phone, but let's see if there's actual true chemistry. And don't over-message. Women that over-message, they look desperate. They look like they don't know what they're doing, and it's a sign of desperation. All right? Now, if you're flirting on future dates, chemistry changes a little bit, okay? So after your first dates, emotional flirting, deeper emotional flirting starts. And a lot of people get lost with this. Sometimes on the first date, you get lost. Sometimes men get so wrapped up in their heads, they don't know how to flirt back. Like, for instance, maybe you're in a darkly lit place and you slide over next to them and they don't know what to do. They keep their hands on their lap. They don't touch your hand. It makes them nervous. So realize men sometimes are very nervous. Men will flirt with you on dates 1 through 3, 1 to 5, by showing you more of their world. They might show you where they work. They might show you their house. They might take you somewhere in their car. They might show you what they like. They might take you to a concert to see if you like the same type of bands they like. And women flirt by just being soft and vulnerable and receive. I mean, it's very easy, ladies. You don't have to make rocket science out of this. Just be open to allow a man to show you who he is. And this is kind of the cat and mouse that's normal. The cat and mouse of lying to people, not texting right back, being manipulative, that's not normal. But when a man shows you who he is and you receive, that's kind of a cat and mouse that's acceptable. What a man wants to show you who he is to see if you're both still interested. And a woman should be open to seeing a man and seeing him for who he is. And if you don't like him, ladies, dates 1 to 3 is the time to determine that. I mean, really, by the third date, you should really have a good understanding of whether you like this man. And touch should naturally happen. Like, he might hold your hand. He might put his hand on your back. That should be natural. If it feels creepy, it's probably a red flag that your intuition is trying to tell you this is not a good fit. But men definitely will lead with physical progression. Now, you absolutely have the right to slow things down. We control the pace. They can initiate stuff, but we control the pace. So if you're not into him putting his hand on your knee, that's okay. Maybe just take his hand and hold his hand. That's fine. That's just slowing down the pace a little bit. By dates 4 to 6, I mean, you're going to be teasing him. You're going to have similar love languages, hopefully. You're going to have inside jokes that you can make together. You can laugh together. You're going to laugh about some of the stupid stuff that's happened. And then, eye contact. You can stare deeply into someone's eyes and it feels normal. And flirting is just going to be emotional. It's just going to be completely connection. It's all about connection by the 3rd to 6th date. And be authentic. I can't say this enough. I really can't. I'm so tired of people being fake in order to try to win someone. And then when they win them, it breaks up right away because the person eventually will see who you are and you just wasted 3 to 6 months of your life and theirs. Okay, so don't fake. Don't be fake flirty. Don't be lying. Don't be dishonest with who you are. And don't force the compliments. Don't lie to the person in order to try to get them drawn in. Be honest. Be true. And again, I don't think you should over-sexualize too early. I think some people say it's like a 90-day wait for sex. That's going to be your choice. It kind of changes the relationship. And some people have sex the first day, second day, third day. But you kind of start losing connection with the person when you do because you're not learning about them. You're not talking to them. And don't try to impress. If you're trying to impress someone by telling them big, bold stories, you're just going to turn them off on both sides. Because the reality is you should be true and tell people who you are. And don't pretend to be busy when you're not just so you can ignore someone and play a manipulation game. It's so rude. I'm sorry, it's just so rude. If someone texts you and you don't text them back within 3 to 5 hours, it's obvious you're playing a game. It really is. People have their phones on them all the time. Now, if it happened once, maybe. But if it happens consistently, they're just a game player. You don't want someone like that. And then when you do eye contact, ladies and men, especially on the second, third, fourth date, don't look away. It makes you seem dishonest. And be completely curious about the other person. If you can be curious about the other person, you'll learn everything you need to know within the first probably 2 to 3 months of whether you want to spend your time with this person. Now, sometimes people will come on strong and they just feel a really strong connection and they go all in right away. It's okay as long as the other person's on the same page. You have to worry about this, about scaring people away. So if you're too over the top and the person's not ready for a full commitment, you might scare them away and they might just stop dating you. So just realize that as well. And then compliments, they have to feel real. If somebody tells me they love my straight hair when I have curly hair, it's just not going to work for me. If somebody compliments something on me and I'm not feeling it, like that would be an insult. You have to realize that compliments, they have to be real. And instead of trying to perform and act someone that you're not, give warmth, give patience, give grace. And honestly, guys, flirting should lead to a relationship, and the relationship should not really change at all. Because they always talk about the honeymoon stage. And yes, there's a honeymoon stage before you truly know everybody and you're still flirting a little bit. You're still getting to know someone. But if you're not authentic in the beginning, the honeymoon stage can end in catastrophe. Because your honeymoon stage should last into your relationship. You should still enjoy patting your partner on the butt or giving them kisses or hugs. Those things shouldn't change. That's what a true relationship needs to grow into if you truly find a great partner. And if you're energetic, hopefully they are, or if not, maybe they balance your energy out. Either way, you need to find something that feels good for you. So I'm trying to wrap it up. I know I've gone a little long on the flirtation today, but I wanted to give you let's say 10 things that you think of when you flirt and how to practice getting better at flirting, because it's very important, guys. Flirting, it's the doorway to open any type of relationship. When you want to get better at flirting, practice eye contact in the mirror with yourself, okay? Practice eye contact with other people. Practice eye contact with friends. Practice eye contact with family members. Now, if you're a woman, don't be doing sexy eye contact with someone that's a family member. It might be a little odd. Or a best friend, that might be a little odd too. You may not get what you want, but practice eye contact. You can do it with strangers. You can do it with anyone. The more you can practice focusing and looking at another person when they talk to you, the better you're going to be at flirting, the better you're going to be at dating. And then smile at strangers. Just smile. A smile's free. We forget that a smile's free. People walk around with scowls on their face all day and it drives me nuts. But you give someone a smile and most likely they will smile back. Now, some don't. Don't get me wrong, some don't. Some have nasty attitudes, but that's okay because those are the type of people I don't really want to know anyway. But smile at strangers, see if you can get a smile back. Smiles are free. Give them freely. Give them all day long. And the more you smile, the more you'll be able to smile when you're flirting. And then I always recommend that you compliment at least one person a day. I recommend giving 5 compliments a day or 6. Give as many as you can. Don't limit it to one, but a bare minimum of one, a true compliment. And you're going to find that the people around you appreciate you more because you compliment them. And then also use your body language. So you can start to use your body language, not in a sexual way towards friends and family, but just in a way that maybe opens you up. Like you'll see if you cross your arms, people will maybe be more closed off. But if you open your arms, maybe palms up, people will be more open to you. Body language is huge, guys. It's one of the biggest parts of communication. So when you're in front of someone and you use body language, it's very important to know how to communicate with your body. And then practice conversations with your friends and family. This is number 5. I'm almost there, guys. Practice curiosity with your friends and family. Okay, so listen to their stories. Go talk to your grandpa, your grandma, and eagerly listen to their story. Talk to your parent, eagerly listen. And I'm talking to adults, so talk to your grandfather, your parent, or a friend, or a coworker, and eagerly listen, because that's what you need to do with your partner. And honestly, guys, that should never change. You shouldn't be texting while your partner's telling your story. I went to a restaurant the other day, and it looked like this couple had been together forever. And they were probably in their 70s. And the woman was talking on the phone, and the man was just sitting there looking at his phone. And then he put it down, and he just looked at her. And you could tell he just felt unwanted because all she did was talk on the phone. Completely ignored her partner, and it was just an uncomfortable scene. That's not the relationship you want. You want to be curious about the other person forever. And it's funny that you'll learn, if you're curious about your partner, you'll learn things about them all the way until the day you die. You really will. And then do something bold for each other. each week. Maybe show up when they weren't expecting you, or give them a message, or maybe send them a little meme or a video. But always smile when you see them. There's something to be said about dogs. When you come home from work and your dog is waiting on you and wagging his tail with a big old grin on his face and can't wait to see you, wouldn't it be nice if that's how your partner greeted you? Because that's what we're looking for in true companionship. So be bold. Smile when you see them on first meeting. Smile when you see them on your first date. Don't give them a dirty look thinking you're playing a game. And then try to compliment them first off the bat. Say, oh, you look very nice today. Or, oh, you smell great. Or, oh, thanks for showing up on time. Just be appreciative. Record yourself talking in a warm voice. If you don't have a warm voice, figure out how to make one. If you have a high-pitched, ratty voice that doesn't sound good to listen to yourself, why do you think other people would want to listen to it? That's the truth. And you can work on voice inflections and change your voice. I used to have a little voice that sounded like a little kid. Up until I was about 28 years old, I sounded like a little kid, like a little girl. And people thought I was like 12, 13 years old because my voice was it was a higher pitched voice, and it was very energetic, but it was a little bit too much like a little kid. So over time, my voice has changed, but I had to work at it. And then move slower. Don't feel like you have to go super fast in order to get someone. Dating is a slow, patient process. If you're constantly running around, you're going to turn the person off because they're going to be like, gosh, she's got so much chaos in her life. I don't know what to do. I'm not going to be able to keep up. That can turn people off. So just be aware of that. Practice when you're with them. This is number 9, guys. Practice being present. If you're with someone and you're not listening to them or paying attention, or you're looking on your phone, you're not present. Why do I want to spend my time with someone who can't even give me the time of day? And that's a saying that's true. If I looked at you and gave you the time of day, you wouldn't even know because you're so out of it. You might even not hear me. So be present with the person you're talking to. Get off the phones. If you're talking on your phone or texting while you're on a date, you're not going to get a second date. I don't know anyone who will put up with that much disrespect, honestly. Then just stay in your masculine or feminine energy. That's the beauty of this. You may be a boss babe. You may work hard and constantly be in your masculine at work. But when you come back or you go on a date, it is nice to just be you and relax and be in your feminine. It is a peaceful place to be. You shouldn't have to be running the date. You shouldn't have to be driving. That's the man's job. Men want to. Let them. Flirting, it's a skill. It takes time, and most people don't know how to flirt, but this is how you're going to get better dates, and this is what dating should feel like. Otherwise, you're going to fall flat on your face. If you're a terrible flirter on your dates, you may not get a second date, and that's the truth. But it's not about perfection. It's about energy. If you screw something up, just claim it. Like if you got all nervous and you weren't able to kiss her or you weren't able to give her a hug because you were too nervous, come clean. Just send her a text. Say, I felt so embarrassed. I was so nervous because I really like you. That will open her up to say, oh, this is a man that I could date because he's vulnerable. Women like to see men vulnerable, not necessarily like weak, but open and emotionally mature enough to share their feelings. Because we want to know how you feel. It's about showing interest in a way that makes a woman feel safe and a man feel safe. A man still has to feel safe with you, ladies. But it should also be sexy and confident. The more confident you are and the sexier you are, that's going to make a man feel masculine. The man's going to lead. He really should. His energy is to lead. That makes him feel like a man. If you demasculate your man when you're dating him, you're never going to have a man. And a woman needs to be inviting and receiving. She needs to accept the energy that a man gives and then give it back to the man. Okay, it's kind of a circular movement, but authentic energy overall is going to attract the best men, and you're going to find that too. When you learn to flirt intentionally, dating becomes fun again. It is joyful, and you tend to attract better men too, I will say. When you date the right men and date a higher quality man, you're going to be happier too. And finding your soulmate becomes a lot easier, but you can't do it if you're not authentic. So I hope this helps. I hope that you've learned a little bit about how to flirt, how to attract the right men, and how to get back out there if you've been kind of stagnant. Now, again, if you're terrible at flirting or you're angry all the time or sad all the time, go work on yourself first before you even get into the flirting. But if you're ready to start dating, this is step 1. This is flirtation and flirting from before you meet them all the way through your first few dates. Hopefully that helps and you learned something new today. I know I am here to answer any questions that you have, and I hope you have a wonderful week. This is Diva Mia signing off. Take care.
Thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe, and drop a comment. We love hearing from you. Visit thedivadetails.com to connect. See you next week for more.
Diva Details podcast and website are intended solely for informational and entertainment purposes. The content provided does not constitute professional, medical, financial, or legal advice. We are not licensed medical practitioners, financial advisors, or legal professionals. Always consult with a qualified healthcare provider for medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Any financial topics discussed are based on personal opinions and experience and should not be considered professional advice. The content provided does not constitute legal advice. The Diva Details and its affiliate, contributor, and guests are not liable for any losses or damages arising from the use of our content. The opinions expressed in the podcast are solely those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views of any affiliated organization, sponsors, or partner. All facts discussed in the podcast are researched and accurate to the best of our knowledge at the time of recording. Information may change over time. No guarantees are made regarding the accuracy, completeness, or reliability of any statements or opinions presented. It is the responsibility of the listener to verify any and all facts that may influence their decision. This podcast is for information and entertainment purposes only and should not be considered professional advice.